Ladies and gentlemen, what we witnessed on live television was nothing short of a political earthquake, an explosion of drama, fury, and chaos, all sparked by one moment of unfiltered truth. Representative Jasmine Crockett, never one to back down from a fight, dropped a bombshell that sent Donald Trump into a tailspin. It happened right before our eyes, uncensored and in real time. In a fiery segment that began as a tense debate and ended in pure spectacle, Crockett exposed what many had speculated but few dared say out loud: the crumbling facade of Donald and Melania Trump's marriage. The reaction? Trump went absolutely bananas. It started subtly as Crockett built her case with precision. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't ranting. She was calm, collected, and deadly accurate. The subject had turned to honesty, loyalty, and character in public office, concepts Trump often uses as shields while ignoring them in practice. That's when she pounced. With that trademark Texas steel in her voice, she said, "We can talk about loyalty all we want, but let's not pretend Donald Trump understands the word. The man whose wife looks more like a hostage than a partner on every stage appearance. That's who we're talking about." The studio gasped. The air thickened, and somewhere off camera, Trump reportedly exploded. Because here's the thing, Jasmine Crockett didn't just throw shade, she threw daylight on a very sensitive subject. For years, questions have swirled around the cold, robotic appearances of Melania by Trump's side. The awkward hand, slaps, the scowls, the body language that screamed distance, but few in politics, especially on live TV, have been bold enough to call it out directly. Crockett, however, plays by her own rules. As the clip of her statement went viral within minutes, Trump's inner circle went into damage control. Sources close to the production claim Trump was watching live, and when he heard Melania's name used as a symbol of his own emotional failures, he lost it. He allegedly started yelling at the television, demanding the feed be cut, and called multiple aides screaming, "She doesn't know anything about my marriage," but then reportedly turned to one and muttered, "Why the hell was Melania brought into this?" Because Melania has always been a quiet but telling figure in Trump's life, ever present, yet oddly absent in emotion. Crockett's critique pierced the image Trump has so desperately tried to maintain, that of the billionaire alpha male with the perfect wife, the perfect life, the perfect brand. But under Crockett's truth surge, that illusion cracked. She wasn't talking about Melania to insult her. She was exposing Donald Trump's inability to maintain the very thing he preaches to others: loyalty, love, and leadership from within. And Trump didn't just get mad, he spiraled. Shortly after the broadcast, he took to Truth Social, his rage keyboard in full swing. He fired off post after post, calling Crockett a disgrace, a liar, and jealous. Jealous of what, exactly? A marriage that looks more like a business transaction than a bond of love, a relationship where even public appearances feel like negotiations. It was a tantrum in digital for maratic capitalization, endless exclamation points, and not a single word of self-reflection. Crockett, of course, didn't back down. She tweeted, "When you live in a glass tower built on lies, truth sounds like a hammer." That post alone got over 2 million views in under an hour. She followed it with a clip of Melania brushing Trump's hand away during a 2017 appearance, with the caption, "But I'm the one lying." The internet was on fire. Memes, reaction videos, and opinion pieces flooded every platform. Late-night hosts had a field day, but underneath the viral spectacle was a deeper, more uncomfortable truth. Jasmine Crockett exposed more than just a shaky marriage. She exposed Trump's fragility. The man who projects invincibility was shattered by one woman speaking boldly. And in that meltdown, we saw a former president undone not by foreign adversaries or political rivals, but by his own reflection. His fury wasn't about Crockett's words. It was about how close they hit to home. Because when you strip away the bluster and bravado, what are we left with? A man so obsessed with power that he demands loyalty without giving it. A man who builds walls, not just at borders, but in his own home. And Crockett laid that bare with the kind of fearless precision that only someone deeply confident in their own integrity can manage. Meanwhile, Melania remained silent, as always, but in that silence, more was said than Trump's 20 raging posts combined. Her silence echoed loudly because we all know silence is not absence. It's often agreement, or resignation, or despair. This wasn't just a TV moment. It was a cultural one. A moment that reminded us how political narratives are often propped up by illusion and how quickly they collapse when real people tell the truth. Jasmine Crockett didn't just expose a marriage. She revealed the hollowness behind a brand. And the man behind that brand responded exactly how we should have expected, with rage, with panic, and with bananas level breakdown. So here we are, in the aftermath of a single sentence that caused a media storm. Crockett didn't need to scream. She didn't need to embellish. She simply spoke what many have whispered for years. And when truth like that is spoken aloud, it doesn't just shake reputations. It fractures the very identity of those who've built themselves on lies. Trump can rant all he wants. He can call people names, threaten lawsuits, or storm off his golf course. But the world saw something he can't erase, a moment where truth triumphed over image. And that, more than anything, is what truly sent him over the edge. Jasmine Crockett's explosive remark about Donald and Melania Trump's marriage wasn't just a passing jab, it was a calculated, razor-sharp observation that sliced through the image Trump has spent decades curating, and it sent shockwaves not only through his camp, but through the entire political media ecosystem. The reason it hit so hard, and why Trump went absolutely ballistic afterward, lies in what it revealed: the emotional bankruptcy at the heart of Trump's persona. For someone who constantly demands loyalty, parades his family as symbols of success, and uses the optics of marriage as political currency, the idea that his relationship with Melania might be little more than a cold business agreement is devastating. It cuts at the core of his public identity. When Crockett said Melania looks more like a hostage than a partner, she wasn't just commenting on marriage. She was attacking Trump's credibility, his authenticity, and his supposed strength as a leader. This moment matters because it reveals something deeper than gossip or viral TV. It exposes the fragile scaffolding holding up the Trump myth. Let's be clear, Donald Trump has always used image as a weapon. From golden elevators to pageant crowns to perfectly posed family portraits, everything in his world is curated for power projection, and central to that projection has been Melania Trump, poised, stylish, and silent. She's rarely spoken publicly, rarely taken positions, and often looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. And yet, she's always present, carefully slotted into frame when needed, just enough to signal family man, stable home, powerful couple. That illusion has political value. It makes Trump appear controlled, masculine, and above the chaos that defines most of his public dealings. But Jasmine Crockett punctured that image with surgical precision. She didn't speculate wildly. She didn't stoop to pettiness. She simply reflected what millions have already observed. The dissonance between Trump and Melania is glaring. The way she swats his hand away, the emotionless appearances, the visible discomfort. None of it says united couple. All of it screams contractual obligation. This is why Trump's reaction was so unhinged, because Crockett didn't make up a lie. She said something that rang with painful accuracy, and accuracy is Trump's greatest fear. He knows how brittle his image is beneath the surface. He knows his brand is built on perception, not substance. And when someone comes along and speaks truth to that perception, especially in a way that reaches millions instantly, he panics. His rage wasn't about defending Melania. It was about preserving himself. Melania is just part of the mask. Crack that, and the whole mask starts to crumble. His posts afterward weren't rooted in love or partnership. They were rooted in fear. Fear that someone just revealed the man behind the curtain. Fear that the carefully staged tableau of Mr. and Mrs. Trump is no longer believable. Crockett also triggered something Trump cannot stand: loss of control. In his world, he controls the narrative. He tells the crowd what to chant. He calls the shots on media interviews. He dictates who gets attention and who gets punished. But in that TV moment, he wasn't in control. She was. And that power shift, however brief, rattled him to his core. She didn't scream. She didn't throw a tantrum. She didn't need to. She let the truth do the work. And that's what made it lethal. The simplicity of the statement, the observational truth in it, struck harder than any insult. Because there is nothing more threatening to a man built on image than a mirror held up without distortion. What Crockett exposed, intentionally or not, is that Trump's public life is not built on love or values. It's built on performance. His marriage, like much of his empire, is a set piece, and people are waking up to that. Americans are tired of the illusion. They're tired of being told one thing while their eyes see another, and Crockett's words pierced that disconnect. She wasn't trying to ruin a marriage. She was revealing how broken it already looks, and in doing so, she reminded us all that power without authenticity is hollow. It also showed us something about Trump's own self-image. A man confident in his marriage, in his values, in his relationships, would laugh off the comment or ignore it entirely, but Trump couldn't. He melted down. He fired off post after post. He sent aides scrambling. That's not the reaction of a man with nothing to hide. That's the reaction of someone terrified that the curtain's been yanked back too far. And the more he reacts, the more he confirms what Crockett implied. That behind the power suit and podium, there's a man deeply insecure about the very thing he pretends to have locked down. In many ways, Crockett didn't just expose the weakness in Trump's marriage. She exposed the weakness in his entire political strategy. He needs people to believe he's in control. He needs the illusion of strength, unity, and purpose. But moments like this unravel that. They remind the public that the emperor may be rich, but he's emotionally bankrupt. And when a woman like Jasmine Crockett, calm and unshaken, holds up that mirror on national television, he has no defense. Just fury. And what does it say about Melania herself? Her silence throughout all this speaks volumes. She has never once come forward with any heartfelt endorsement of her husband. Her presence has always felt obligatory, not affectionate. Her body language often speaks louder than his words, and while Trump may rage online and claim it's all lies, she says nothing, because maybe there's nothing to correct. Maybe silence is her only form of protest. Or maybe it's her way of confirming without saying a word. Ultimately, this moment wasn't about gossip. It was about truth. Jasmine Crockett held a mirror up to a powerful man and said, "Look at what you're selling us, and look at what we actually see." That's why Trump unraveled. Not because she lied, but because she didn't.